We are so close! Starship 25 stacked on top of Super Heavy Booster 9. Will this launch be a success? Crew 6 returns back to Earth. Stoke Space is ready for a static fire, and Firefly is doing something rather crazy. My name is Felix, welcome to What About It. Let's dive right in. Starship updates. Another day, another why episode. This time our attention will mostly focus on the second orbital Starship, as it could launch any day now. We've also seen some development at the build site, with yet another mystery that you might be able to solve. Today, for a change, let's kick things off at the Rocket Garden, SpaceX's exhibition grounds for starships and boosters awaiting their turns for testing. At the center of the stage is a ship with the serial number 25, slated to make an orbital attempt after its predecessor met a premature demise mid-flight. Over recent weeks, SpaceX's exceptional engineering team has been working hard on this spacecraft. Our aerial images revealed a noteworthy change. Much like its partner Booster 9, Ship 25 now sports vent holes designed to purge the engine compartment. This will help mitigate or even extinguish onboard fires while the rocket is in flight. On September 4th, two self-propelled modular transporters rolled into the Rocket Garden and moved Ship 25 to the launch site, captured in stunning detail by our photographer John. Wasting no time, the prototype was positioned directly between Mechazilla's chopsticks, signaling that stacking operations were about to begin. Within hours, Ship 25 found itself airborne, albeit not under its own propulsion. Yet. Close-up images offered a revealing look at the spacecraft's skirt. Here, two key observations can be made. Do you see them? First, while the shielding appears similar to what was used on Ship 24, it's been completely modified to accommodate the new engine purge system. Second, the absence of stiffener rings on the Raptor vacuum engines confirms that the testing phase for this prototype has definitely concluded. So this is a Merlin engine, but essentially the rings are for maintaining the structural integrity of the engine nozzle during firings here on Earth. In the vacuum of space, they aren't needed anymore. This also puts to rest any speculation that SpaceX might attempt a static fire test while Ship 25 is mounted atop Booster 9, an idea that seemed unlikely from the get-go. Once the ship was placed on top of the Super Heavy booster, some of you noticed the slight wobble of the whole stack. If you caught that detail, congratulations, you have great attention to detail. However, there is no cause for alarm. This sort of movement is entirely normal and has been observed in past stacking operations as well. With the stacking complete, Starship can once more claim the title of being the tallest rocket ever. The combined height of Ship 25 and Booster 9 is slightly taller than its predecessor, measuring about 121 meters or 397 feet. In an intriguing plot twist, post-assembly Booster 9 seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, venting its engine compartment with CO2 almost as if to mark the occasion. We also witnessed the test retraction of the ship quick disconnect arm, making sure everything works. Meanwhile, as anticipated, SpaceX released video footage and some epic shots of the event. Intriguingly, Elon Musk retweeted the post and used an interesting caption: "Starship is ready to launch, awaiting FAA approval." This phrasing certainly got our interest. After all, we were expecting for them to say something like Ship 25 stacked atop Booster 9 in preparation for wet dress rehearsal. This could either be Elon's way of exerting a bit of pressure on the FAA, or a subtle hint that a separate tanking test may not be in the plans. Let's not forget, a WDR is a costly and time-consuming procedure, involving refilling the tank farm over the period of a few days. There is a chance that SpaceX might skip this step, opting instead to roll the dice with a single combined test and subsequent launch. If everything works out, the launch proceeds as planned. If any issues are encountered, the launch attempt turns into a wet dress rehearsal to collect additional data. As of this video's recording, the FAA has yet to give its stamp of approval. However, new Mariner notices have been issued for both the Gulf of Mexico and Hawaii. Given the uncertainty of the situation, there is a chance Starship could launch before our next update. So let's quickly review the updates and improvements made to the latest version of Starship to understand why the chance of reaching orbit this time is much higher. One of the most significant modifications was done to the so-called Stage 0, the most complicated part of the rocket. And it doesn't even fly. You may recall that a few weeks ago we were focused mostly on the drilling and piling activities aimed at fortifying the soil beneath the launch mount. This was done to prevent the concrete from flexing to a point of failure. Additionally, all the concrete surrounding the orbital launch site has been entirely redone. The hope is that with so much rebar reinforcement, the concrete won't be able to be just peeled off, as was the case during the first flight. Another change sparking debate is the introduction of a water-cooled steel plate. There is skepticism regarding its effectiveness in preventing the issues that plagued the initial launch. My take is that even if this plate doesn't hold up, it might last just long enough to protect the newly reinforced concrete from breaking apart. So a second concrete tornado should be off the table. Or is it? Elon Musk has also indicated that during this flight, Starship will clear the launch tower way quicker. So even if all the other systems fail, the damage should be less severe than what we saw last time. Moving on to changes made to the booster. There were 3 primary issues during its first test flight. First, the hydraulic power units quite dramatically exploded mid-flight, making it impossible to steer or control the entire rocket. Nope, this spin wasn't intentional. Booster 9 introduces a major update in the form of an electric thrust vector control or TVC system. This innovation ensures that each engine operates independently, thereby reducing the risk of impairing other Raptors if one fails, and it gets rid of the complicated hydraulic pressure units altogether. No hydraulic pressure needed anymore, electric. The second issue with the first stack was the fire that spread at the base of Super Heavy Booster 7, which might have been the tipping point leading to Starship's ultimate destruction. While the original design did include some sort of fire suppression system, it proved inadequate. Booster 9's system, on the other hand, is way beefier, potentially eliminating the issue. Lastly, a new flight termination system has been implemented. This system is crucial for safety as it can instantly abort the flight. Unlike in the first test where the FTS didn't function as expected, the improved system should work instantly. We were really fortunate that Starship was headed in the correct direction during its initial flight. Had it veered towards populated areas and the FTS failed to activate, we would likely never see another Starship launch again. Tests of the new system at the Massey's facility suggest that this time it will work as intended, but ideally, FTS won't be needed in the first place. As for the ship itself, the first flight didn't provide much insight into any potential flaws, given it never reached 1-2 stage separation. The upcoming launch will be a test for the hot staging ring, as well as for the performance of the Raptor vacuum engines in an actual vacuum. Although the ideal outcome would be to see the Starship enter its orbital path and then splash down near Hawaii, the current condition of the heat tiles doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in that being the case. What is your take? Do you anticipate a more successful flight this time, or should we brace for another spectacular explosion? How far will this launch go? Please share your predictions in the comments below, I'd love to read them. Last week we also discussed the ongoing expansion of the orbital tank farm and the inner workings of subcoolers. The speed of progress in this area has exceeded our expectations by far. Before the episode was even published, 2 more subcoolers and a pump had already been added to the methane side of the tank farm. Next, 4 additional subcoolers were also installed on the oxygen side. All that remains is 1 more LOX pump and the necessary piping. It's possible that the quicker tanking procedure will already be used during the second Starship launch. We're in for a wild ride, excitement guaranteed. Let's now shift our focus to the build site, where several intriguing developments have occurred. First, let's turn our attention to the high bay, the building where SpaceX assembles its future starships. On August 31st, the first segment of Ship 31 was stacked. This involved joining the payload section with its nose cone, or ogive, as rocket engineers call the nose. Just 5 days later, the forward dome section was positioned near the entrance of the high bay, signaling that Ship 31 is ready for further growth. Over at the first megabay, our keen-eyed photographer John captured something interesting: a delivery of 2 hefty metal beams. One of these beams was subsequently moved inside the megabay. The structure appears heavy-duty and seems like it could function as a rail or a guide of some sort. There is buzzing speculation that this might eventually be a sliding door for the megabay, similar to the one at the vehicle assembly building here at the Cape. While such a door would offer protection from the elements, it would also shield the prototypes from public view, leaving us somewhat in the dark about the ongoing process. For now, however, we can confirm that both Booster 10 and Booster 12 are inside the megabay, receiving their final touches. Outside this building, another intriguing component can be found: the common dome for Booster 13. This part is often the starting point for assembling the liquid oxygen tank, meaning that work on this prototype is likely to commence soon. What do you think? Will SpaceX obscure our view of the megabay, or is it something entirely different? You are pretty good at figuring this stuff out together with us, so please leave your ideas in the comments. Thanks to each one of you who checked if YouTube unsubscribed you. We've seen a massive number of people unaware that they were unsubscribed. Who knows, maybe you're one of them. Be sure to check that subscription button just to be sure. And on September 6th, we also crossed a massive milestone, the 300,000 subscriber mark, which just shows how many of you space fans are out there. It is not possible for me to thank each one of you, but just know that I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity that this community gave us. Special thanks and a huge bear hug go out to our supporters, a group you can join for as low as $1 a month. With it, you get access to daily Starbase photo galleries, now including aerial and ground photos of SpaceX's progress, and countless other extras on top. The next flyover will likely happen on the day this episode gets released. No matter how much you decide to give, everyone gets the same supporter content and access. You decide what you want to give. The link to our Patreon page is in the description. Thanks to all the supporters who help fulfill dreams for our team. We can't thank you enough. You rock. I've got something truly exciting to share with you. If you've been looking for a unique way to showcase your passions or simply spruce up your living space, then you need to know about Displate. Displate is all about collecting what you love and getting inspired every single day. I mean, just look at these. Whether you're a creator like me wanting to share your passion with your audience, or just someone looking for a touch of art, Displate has got you covered. And the best part, it is all printed on metal, crafted specially for you by their masters of production. Displate offers a vast array of designs. Whether it is a stunning landscape, abstract art, or a character from a popular series, there is something for everyone. Worried about the setup? Displate's unique magnet mounting system makes it a breeze. You can just take it off the wall and put it wherever it doesn't fall on the ground, and then you can take another one and just... Now, you might be wondering why choose metal over the traditional paper posters or canvas prints. Well, not only does Displate offer a unique aesthetic and durability, it is also a great value. Especially if you use my link, which gets you an awesome discount. And for all my European viewers, guess what? These masterpieces are printed right here in the EU, ensuring quality and speedy delivery within just 4 to 5 business days. On to some more SpaceX news. Did you know that less than 3 years since the inaugural launch of Crew 1, SpaceX has successfully fulfilled its initial contract under NASA's Commercial Crew program? That is crazy fast, but there is a reason for that. Initially, both Boeing and SpaceX were selected to develop crew capsules with the aim of restoring America's capability to send astronauts to space, an ability that lapsed following the final space shuttle mission in 2011. The plan was for NASA to alternate between Boeing and SpaceX for crewed missions until 2030. This, unfortunately, is the year when the International Space Station will be decommissioned. Boeing received nearly $2 billion more funding, so many believed they would be the one to deliver on schedule. As it turned out, both companies missed their respective deadlines, but SpaceX turned out to be the underdog here, providing consistent crew service for NASA since 2021. Under the original agreement, Crew Dragon was contracted for 6 missions. That contract came to a conclusion on September 4th with the safe return of Crew 6. This mission featured 3 astronauts, Stephen Bowen, Warren Hoburg, and Sultan Al-Neyadi, along with 1 cosmonaut, Andrei Fedjayev. They spent 185 days on board the ISS. While on the station, they carried out an array of experiments that not only advance our understanding of life in space, but also have direct applications here on Earth. One such experiment was the fluidics study, which examined fluid sloshing and wave turbulence in a microgravity environment. This research is crucial for improving the management strategies which could extend the lifespan of satellites, as well as help improve our climate prediction systems. Hoburg and Bowen also undertook 2 significant spacewalks to install a pair of iROSA solar panels aimed at boosting the ISS's power supply. These panels were the 3rd set of a planned series, each contributing an additional 20 kilowatts of power to the station's grid. After wrapping up their mission, the 4-person crew re-entered Earth's atmosphere aboard Crew Dragon Endeavour, eventually splashing down safely off the coast of Jacksonville, Florida. Due to the Crew Dragon's proven reliability and the delays of Boeing, SpaceX has been granted 8 more missions, bringing the total to 14. It is good to see SpaceX's different approach to hardware development paying off. No wonder other companies are starting to adopt a similar mindset. Meet Stoke Space, a Washington-based startup founded by former SpaceX and Blue Origin engineers. I hope you knew them before my introduction. Let me get you up to speed. Stoke aims to revolutionize the industry with a fully reusable 2-stage rocket featuring an unconventional upper stage. In a typical rocket, you might find 1 or 2 engines optimized for working in a vacuum of space. Stoke's design also utilizes 1 engine, but get this, it has 30 separate thrust chambers. For several months, the company has been rigorously testing this unique aerospike engine setup with over 20 successful static fires. Parallel to these engine tests, Stoke has been developing a test vehicle dubbed Hopper 1, reminiscent of SpaceX's Starhopper. Their objective was nearly identical: pressure test the vehicle and conduct a small hop. However, after encountering issues during the 2nd wet dress rehearsal in June, Stoke decided to scrap the first hopper. Luckily, thanks to their hardware-rich approach, its successor, Hopper 2, was already in the works. Comparing the 2 prototypes, we can tell that the 2nd hopper boasts cleaner welds and has a more refined structure. This prototype has successfully completed its series of wet dress rehearsals and is right now waiting for a static fire. Assuming everything goes according to plan, Hopper 2 is scheduled to perform an untethered hop to test out its differential throttle thrust vector control system, or DT-TVC for short, albeit that's not so short. This innovative setup uses multiple throttleable thrust chambers to emulate a single engine with proper thrust vector control. Truly cutting-edge stuff, this should be a spectacular test. Moreover, Stoke Space's upper stage comes with an actively cooled heat shield that is also part of the engine. During re-entry, cryogenic fuel absorbs the heat generated by the forming plasma. This heated fuel, now transformed into high-pressure gas, powers the engine's turbine. It essentially creates a self-regulating system. The hotter the re-entry, the faster the turbine spins, and the more coolant circulates through the heat shield. Personally, I cannot wait for both the static fire as well as the hop test. Hopefully they will be broadcasted live. Lastly, in a comeback bid for relevance in the launch industry, Firefly Aerospace is back in the spotlight. For those who may not remember, Firefly made headlines in September 2021 with the first flight of their Firefly Alpha rocket, a potential rival to SpaceX's Falcon 9. Regrettably, the mission was met with failure just seconds after liftoff when one of the engines shut down, killing the rocket's thrust vector control capabilities. To ensure safety, the flight termination system was activated, turning Firefly into Fireball. Fast forward to over a year of painstaking preparations, Firefly attempted another launch with their 2nd Alpha rocket. This time the launch went a lot better, managing to propel the second stage into orbit. The issue was that it wasn't quite the intended orbit, and a week later it was confirmed that the payloads re-entered Earth's atmosphere much sooner than planned. Now, another year on, Firefly is gearing up for a pivotal third attempt, and this one comes with an added layer of difficulty. The company has won the technically responsive Space 3 mission contract from the United States Space Force. The objective of this mission is to demonstrate Firefly's ability to execute launches on extremely short notice, whether to replace a critical satellite or swiftly deploy a new one. They are now in a 6-month window, during which the Space Force can request a launch at any time with just 24 hours notice to execute it. Can you imagine the stress level? Once the payload arrives at Vandenberg Space Force Base, Firefly will have just a single day to encapsulate it within a payload fairing. Next, they will have to integrate it with the rocket, update onboard software with new orbital parameters, and then actually launch the rocket. Entering this high-stakes rapid response period implies that the third Firefly Alpha rocket is complete and ready to launch. This means that any day now, Firefly could take to the skies once more, this time actually reaching the intended orbit. Third time's the charm, fingers crossed. That's it for today. Remember to smash that like button, subscribe for more awesome content. This is what fuels the algorithm and helps us immensely. Check out our epic shirts in your favorite Space Nerd store. A link is in the description. And if you want to get even smarter about space and rockets, watch this video next to continue your journey. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next episode. We've also seen optimized. It's optimized. A fluoride lamination control. Alright, I'm not gonna say that again.